Turned lobbed words of gratitude his way. It was a parting of nigh unbearable sadness. It was a moment of parting marred by indelible despair. Why the projection had run its course. She returned to the world of darkness. She had pathos and melancholy both. But more than that, she held a question toward this trial. She did not see herself anywhere within the world she had just visited. Neither of the people in that place was Emilia. She could guess who they were, but why had she witnessed a scene, a future without her? Was she being shown a future that was the result of her own choices? Then how was she supposed to face the calamity that would inevitably come? CCY amid that silence, the blue light vanished. Just like the initial silver light, a void had been born. Nearly 20 more lights continued to surround Emilia. Awaiting within each and every one was a tragic future that was the result of her choices. Determined to accept them all, she stretched her consciousness toward the next one. In one future after another, Emilia's choices, and the calamity they would invariably bring about, awaited her. She saw the future. Without that, have you not even a sword to swing, you damn thief? Subaru and Emilia are both tired, right? Sorry. And yet, even I've become a burden on you. I always wanted to say I'm sorry for never measuring up, millimeter. My granddaughter, my pride and joy, has grown to be a good child. 75 Golden Agato MP4 Directs.com. As she touched the variously colored lights, Emilia continued to see different futures. Sorry. I'm so sorry I can't kill you because I'm weak. Sorry. Even so, I'll keep you to myself for all eternity. I'm sorry I'm so weak. What? You feel like this is fulfilling your promise? If so, then you should have left me to die wrapped in a mat in that cave. If you were going to show me a dawn like this, it should all have ended there. Damn it. Damn it all. T absolutely will not allow you to die for some nonsensical reason like a curse. There were wails. There were angry shouts. In different forms, they indicated endings, renewals, meetings, and partings. Oh look, I won again. To think someone I want to kill this much turned out to be such a gentle person, what a nightmare. You have bent your knees before irresistible despair, and you have lost even your sword. Just what is it you still cling to? She asked herself whether the things awaiting her, the futures at which she would arrive, were not some kind of mistake. Am I really that greedy? Do I really ask so much? I just don't want to be alone. I don't want to become alone. Is that so hard to understand? Was there really nothing but despair in these futures? Was there anything beyond the sadness, beyond the suffering? I merely realized something. The days I've spent until now were by no means days I walked alone. In the end, 'twould seem we must atone with every last drop of our blood, does it not? 76 Golden Agato MP4 Directs.com. What had gone wrong? Did she wish for the wrong things? Why won't the soul take? Whether it's with justice or villainy, ya can't solve every problem under the sun. That's what you just stepped in. If you block our path, I don't care if you're a witch or a dragon. I'll crush you. She was being shown untold tragedies and calamities. Amid that deluge of despair, which was enough to make her want to cry, she came to doubt everything she had done. If all that awaited the end of her journey was tragedy, that was simply belief. Praying for one's desires is arrogance. Prayer is for seeking forgiveness. In the future of the final light, a girl her waking self should never have set eyes upon spoke those words. It was not fleeting enough to be hopeful and too bold to be despairing. Her non-existent pulse quickened. After all, she'd seen nothing but sad, agonizing futures in all that time. I want to have a proper conversation with you, no matter what the future holds. She thought if a certain boy was with her, they could speak together and laugh about the futures they hoped for. Even if all that awaited her were worlds of tragedy, she felt in her heart that if she could at least have that much. When her vision opened up, Emilia was standing right in the middle of grass rustling in the wind. 77 Golden Agato MP4 Directs.com. She had arrived immediately after the darkness, and the continually switching worlds had stopped. At first, Emilia thought she was being shown yet another future, but she immediately realized this was something else. Have actual hands and feet, and my voice is coming out. So this must be, clenching both hands into fists, Emilia confirmed she possessed physical flesh. Then she surveyed her surroundings, realizing this grassland was unfamiliar and the presence of a little hill right behind her. Atop the hill, a large parasol was spread. Naturally, this drew her to go closer. Climbing up the hill, she found a white table and chairs under the parasol, and the faint whiff of warm tea wafted in the air. Naturally, she surmised Echidna might be here, so Emilia was on guard, but no one's here. There were 6 chairs arranged by the round table. Set atop the table were confections and cups, equal in number to the chairs, leaving the distinct sense that she had shown up right before some kind of tea party. Yet, it seemed as if everything had been abandoned midway without even cleaning up, leaving nothing of the participants but empty seats. 66 When she touched a cup, which still had some tea in it, she felt a faint trace of warmth that felt like anyone would be shaken if they saw what Emilia was up to. Echidna was having tea with someone. And then, she understood as much already, but for a dead person, Echidna sure had considerable freedom of action in this place. She was amazed that beyond her work as the administrator of the trials, she'd go as far as to invite her guests to tea. Here, the dead or their ghosts were, to the greatest extent, free. Deeply moved by that fact, Emilia reached a hand toward one of the sweets without particular thought. You might be trying to act like a witch, but put so much as a finger on those, and you'll regret it. Shocked by the unfamiliar voice suddenly calling out to her from behind, Emilia tried to instantly turn around, and her shock deepened further, for a finger touch to the back of her head rendered her body completely immobile. 78 Golden Agato MP4 Directs.com EE2E Ora. It wasn't that she was being restrained by force, she was held in place by the sheer overwhelming pressure. The person standing right behind Emilia was a being beyond her comprehension. Gleaning this just from her aura and the touch of her finger, Emilia felt her entire body rapidly go numb. She sensed if she turned around, or at the slightest whim of the person behind her, she would be instantly and utterly annihilated. Good girl. You are correct not to look back. Why you are. Well, you know a witch so terrifying, she makes every hair on your body stand on end. Witch, that single word entwined tightly around Emilia's heart, making it even harder to breathe. Emilia, often slandered as a witch because of her appearance, had complex feelings where the term was concerned. However, even so, the being she was standing in front of seemed completely beyond all her preconceptions. Were all the beings worthy of being called true witches shrouded in such immense miasma? I guess that's that, then. It really is the boy with the foul look in his eyes who's the strange one. Foul look? Are you talking about Subaru? Letting out a snort, the witch admired Emilia's ability to wring out her voice. The instant you hear that boy's name, you perk up? That's marvelous, but you don't really have a good grasp of the situation, do you? And what do you think of that boy anyway? Subaru told me he loves me. He's a very precious boy to me, but, so that's it? Well, really it's all the same to me. To Emilia, it was not at all clear why she would dismiss with ragged breath the question she herself had just posed. However, at the same time, she felt her fear toward the witch at her back faintly diminish, 79 Golden Agato MP4 Directs.com. She did not know the reason. Perhaps she could simply tell the being was not impervious to dialogue. Relying upon that sense, Emilia swallowed once, then, hardening her will, she began to speak.